Okay, nice friend. Today we are going to discuss topic number 8, and the title of this topic, is transport in plant. Okay, in this topic we have to discuss about the transport system in plant. Specifically, we have to discuss the function of xylem vessels and phloem vessels. We will also discuss the transpiration in plant, how the plant lose excess water. We will also discuss here about the translocation, means the movement of amino acid and sucrose in plant. Okay, so let's start the first slides. Okay, see here. Yeah, so function of xylem and phloem vessels. As you know very well that in plant, there are two transport vessels. Okay, as you can see on the screen. Number one, is a xylem vessel. Number two is phloem vessels. Okay, in the previous chapter or the topic, we also discussed the special features of the xylem vessels. That xylem vessels are the hollow tube which are made up of dead walls, and these walls do not have cytoplasm, no nucleus is there. Okay, so only the transportation take place easily. Even the nucleus is not found in xylem vessels. So what is the function of xylem vessels? Xylem vessels, transport water and minerals, okay, from the roots to the stem and leaves. So this is about the xylem vessel. Now the second type of vessel systems is the phloem vessels. Okay, phloem vessels, they transport food material. Specifically, they transport sucrose and amino acid, which is made by the plant from photosynthesis, photosynthesis links to non-photosynthesis regions in the roots and stem. These vessels are arranged throughout the roots, stem, and leaves in groups called vascular bundles. Means xylem and phloem vessels are collectively known as vascular bundles. Okay, so you should know the difference between the xylem vessel and the phloem vessel. Xylem vessels are responsible only to transport water and minerals, and phloem vessels are responsible to transport amino acid and sucrose. Now come to the next one. See here. Here you can see the diagram of the xylem vessel. As you can see that these xylem vessel are having a thick cell wall containing lignin, and the thin area of cell wall we call as the pit. Okay, and the space in this special type of plant cells is empty. There is no cytoplasm. You can see gap where end walls of the cell has been lost. Okay, you can see here this area on the screen. So these are the xylem vessels. Okay, and these are responsible to transport water and minerals. Okay, now in another diagram you can see the phloem vessels. As you can see that there are two way flow, because from one way the water is moving, okay, and the other way amino acid and sucrose is coming. So see here, when plant takes too much water, then this water enters into the phloem vessels, and then this water just take up the amino acid and sucrose. Okay, and then it transport amino acid and sucrose in all parts of the body, and the process by which amino acid and sucrose transported by the phloem vessel called as translocation. Now come to the another slides. You can see here there is the structure of the leaf, which we also studied in the previous chapter. Specifically, we discussed the structure of leaf in the in topic number 6, that is nutrition in plant. Okay, we have discussed the process of photosynthesis. Okay, and we also discussed the structure of the leaf. In the structure of the leaf, you can see that xylem vessels and phloem vessels both can be seen here. Okay, and these are responsible for the transport. Now come to the next slides. See here. Yeah, sometime you are given the diagram, okay, of
Mister,
the. Yes.
can you go
Yes.
back to the last slide?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, Mister, how do you know the difference between the phloem and the xylem?
Xylem vessel and phloem vessel. This one.
No, no, the last the other one, the one that was just on
This one.
the picture of the The leaf.
Okay, picture of the leaves. Yes, this one. Yes, this is the picture.
Yes.
This is the picture of the leaf. You can see here. There are like xylem vessels are there. In the beginning, we have discussed the structure of the leaf, specifically in topic number 6 we discuss like that what are the different layers of cells are there. For example, like the upper one is a non-cellular, that is a cuticle or wax, and then the epidermis, upper epidermis is there, then palisade mesophyll is there, and the spongy mesophyll are there. And here in the leaf there
So,
are also two type of like vessels are there. Xylem vessel, you can see these are the xylem vessels. Okay, these are the xylem vessel, and down there is a phloem vessels. Yes.
Mister, the top part is the xylem and the bottom part is the phloem because they both look the same.
Yeah, no. See, in exam, in exam when you are given the diagram. Okay, see the diagram where I'm just like putting the cursor. See, phloem tissues. You see phloem tissues. The outer one. You can see the outer one. These are the phloem tissues, and the inner one, is the xylem tissues. Okay, if you are studying like the cross section of the stem. Okay, so the yellow one, you can see the yellow one is the phloem tissues, and the inner one, that is the light blue, is a xylem vessels. Okay, if you are given the cross section area of stem. Now if you are given the cross section area of a root, so you can see that the in the mid, you can see like the plus sign. Okay, inside that, this is the xylem tissues. Okay, this is the innermost layer of the cells or the tubular cells. And the outer one, you can see here again, the yellow, this is the phloem tissue. So sometime you are asked like identify the xylem and phloem tissues. Okay, and write down the functions. So if suppose that like you are given the cross section area of stem. Okay, so cross section area of stem is like this, you can see on the diagram. Okay, the inner one, the inner tubes is the xylem tissues, and the outer one is the phloem tissues. Okay, after that you are going to just like write down the functions. And see the next diagram, cross section area of the root hair cells. So innermost, again innermost, okay, is the xylem vessels, and the outer one, outer tubular system is the phloem tissues. So in exam, sometime you are given this diagram and sometime you are given this diagram, and you are asked to identify xylem and phloem and write down their functions. Is that clear? Yeah,
Okay, Mister.
should we move to the next slides?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. Now you can see here again, the same, same thing I'm going to explain you. There is a big diagram. You can see here, this is the root, this is the root and this is a stem. Okay. Again, the inner one, the inner tubular system is the xylem vessel, and outer one is the phloem vessel. Okay, if they give you the cross section area of stem, but if they give you the cross section area of root, so innermost, again you can see here, innermost area is xylem and the outer one is the phloem. Okay, and in leaf you can also study the leaf, but mostly like they give you the diagram of stem and the root hair cells. Okay, root cells specifically. So in the leaf, again you can see the side veins and the lower epidermis is there. Okay, and you can see again the inner one is a xylem vessel, and outer one is a phloem vessel. So if you are going to study like the inner structure of leaf, stem or roots, okay, you will see that the outer tubular structure, outer tubular layers, this is like the phloem vessels, and the inner one is xylem vessels, and their function very well. Yes, is that clear or not?
Yes, it's clear,
uh,
Mister.
Good. Now see here, root hair cells. You know very well that firstly, like the root hair cells, which are having a large surface area, having the big vacuole, they are responsible to absorb water from the soil. Okay, and after that this water enters, okay, into the cortex, and then this water enters into the xylem vessels. Okay, so the root hair cell, the structure of the root hair cells, we are already discussed in topic number 2. Okay, so we come to the next one. See here, this is, you see, this is like, the pathway of the water. See, the root hair cells, you can see root hair cells are, in the soil, okay, and they are having a large surface area, due to which they are going to absorb high amount of water, which having, the minerals, okay. Then these all, like, these all root hair cells, open, okay, into the area. You can see here, this is we called as a cortex. You can see the xylem vessel, the root hair cell, then they open in the cortex, and then the cortex, attached to the xylem vessels, okay. So in this way, like, there is a transportation of water. See, sometime, student intermix the function of root hair cells and xylem vessel. So must keep one thing in mind, that root hair cells are responsible to absorb water. Mean their function is absorption of water. Okay, but xylem vessels are responsible to transport water and minerals in all parts of the plant. Okay, so see here, this water, just towards center of the roots, is coming from the center of the root, okay, and towards center of the root. So see, this water, is coming from the center of the root, okay. And then, like, the cortex, after that, the cortex, the water enters into the xylem vessels, okay. And then, like, this water, is to be used, okay, in the process of photosynthesis, very well, okay, as we have discussed this photosynthesis in topic number 6. Yeah, is that clear? Should we come to the
Yes,
next slide?
Mister.
Okay, good. Now see, pathway of water through the root, root to the leaf. So root to the leaf. See here, this is what I was telling you. See, the root hair cells. The root hair cells are found in the roots. Okay, and they are attached with the soil water. Okay, so you can see that the arrow. You can see the black arrow. The water, absorbed by the root hair cells, as they are having a large surface area. So these root hair cells are absorbing high amount of water, and this water, enters into the cortex, root cortex cells. After that, it has to be transport into the xylem vessel, and this xylem vessel, take this water, okay, to the different photosynthesizing cell, specifically, like, this water goes to the palisade mesophyll, spongy mesophyll, for the process of photosynthesis. This water also enters into the guard cells, because when the guard cells take too much water, then the stomata opens, okay, due to which, like, there is exchange of gases. Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes.
Mister.
Good. Now come the next one. See, pathway of water into and across a root. Once the water gets into the xylem, it is carried up to the leaves where it enters mesophyll cells. So the pathway is, see, this is the pathway: root hair cells, then root cortex cells, xylem, and leaf mesophyll cell. This is what I think we have discussed it. Okay, already discussed it. Now come to the next slide. Okay, now here you can see. Sometime, you are given the experiment. You are given the experiment that, like, how do you prove that xylem vessels are responsible to transport water and minerals. Okay, so what we have to do, we just take, like, the one plant that also, having the leaves, and the roots of the plant, okay, is to be cut, and we put, like, we put this root of the plant into the red food dyes. Okay, red food dyes, that is we call as the eosin. Okay, and another, is to be put it, okay, into the blue food dyes, that is methylene blue. Okay, after that, we just, like, study, like, that which tubular system is responsible to transport water and minerals, and which tubular system is responsible to transport amino acid and glucose. But here you can see, here, we also take one, like, beaker that contains the same type of plant. Okay, we take it, like, as the control mean, we do not put any dye in it, we do not put any colored solution in it. So see here we see, like, that no stance, so can't identify xylem vessel, because, water is transparent, okay, and these vessels are also transparent, so you cannot identify that water is transported by the xylem vessel. But if you are going to study, like, the red food dyes, that is eosin, you will see that when you are going to just make a section, okay, microscopic section of the root, then you will see that only the xylem vessels, okay, are colored. Okay, the xylem vessel are colored, which means that xylem vessel are responsible to transport water and mineral. Because you see here in the beaker, only water is there. But this water also contains some color. Okay, so when the plant absorb water, it and this water enters only in the xylem vessel. So you can see only xylem vessel is colored. Okay, and another blue food dye, that is methylene blue. Okay, here we when we take the cross section and see under the microscope, then we see only the xylem vessels are having the blue color. So this experiment shows that xylem vessels are responsible to transport water and minerals, not the phloem vessels. Is that clear? Yes.
It's clear, Mister. So the
Good.
xylem only transports water.
Yes, okay, because only the xylem vessel are colored. Okay, xylem vessels take up the eosin dye and the methylene blue dye. Okay, due to which they are colorized. But the phloem vessel were transparent. Okay. Now, we are going to discuss another topic here, the transpiration. What is transpiration? As you know, as we are having excess water in our body, so we perspire. Okay, we release sweat. Okay, in the same way, when plant are having a high amount of water. Okay, so this high amount of water, is lost from the aerial parts of plant. Okay, and the process in which plant lose water in the form of vapors, okay, called as the transpiration. So see here, transpiration is the loss of water vapors from the mesophyll cell surface due to the evaporation. The water vapors then exits the plant via the stomata. You know what is stomata? These are the openings in the plant. Okay, water helps maintain plant structure by keeping cells turgid, because when the guard cells takes too much water, okay, these cells become turgid, okay, swollen, and then stomata open. Okay, if the plant loses too much water which is not replaced, it begins to wilt, okay, as water moves out of cells and turgor pressure decreases. To limit water loss, the plant closes the stomata to prevent water vapor diffusing out. Excuse me. So water molecules are drawn up the xylem by transmission pull, okay, not osmosis. Here you see osmosis not involved, because what is transmission pull? When the aerial parts of plant lose too much water, okay, so a pull is developed. Okay, that is called as a transmission pull. Water molecules are cohesive. Cohesive mean, these are the forces which exist between the similar type of molecule. Mean one water molecule attract to other water molecule. This type of forces called as the cohesive forces, meaning they stick together. This means that as the water evaporates as at the leaf and diffuses out of the stomata, more water is drawn up the plant from the roots. The rate of transpiration depends on the on, like, some specific factors. For example, like, it depends on the temperature. If there is a high temperature, okay, so plant loses more water. If there is a wind, means moving air, plant lose more water. If there is a high intensity of light, plant also lose more water. Okay, so like transpiration, is directly proportional to the temperature, wind, and the light intensity. But it is inversely proportional to the humidity. Means if there is a high rate of humidity, then plant lose less water. Okay, so these are the factors that you should know. So here, in these slides, you can see that what is transpiration, okay, and how, like, the transpiration pool is developed, and what are the cohesive forces, okay, which help in making the transpiration pool, and which factor are responsible for the transpiration. Okay, which factors are there due to which the rate of transpiration increases or decreases. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes.
Master.
Good. Now see here, cohesive. You see cohesion. You see this is a diagrammatical, expression that cohesion means you see same type of molecule. Mean one water molecule attract to other water molecules. Okay, so this is we called as a cohesion forces because the water is moving away from the gravity. In the xylem vessel the water is moving away from the gravity. So how the water is moving away from the gravity because whenever you are going to just release anything from the top, okay, it just move down due to the gravity, but the water is moving against the gravity. So is there any particular force that is possible to transport water from bottom to the top? Of course these forces are there. This is we call as the cohesive forces or cohesion. Okay, and these water molecules also attracted by the wall of the xylem vessels. And you can see what are these forces called. These forces we call as the adhesive forces because adhesive forces exist between the different type of molecule. One water molecule is there, another the xylem vessels. Okay, so these two forces take the water from bottom to the top part of the plant. Okay, from where the excess water is to be transpire, and some water is to be utilized in the process of photosynthesis. Is that clear?
It's clear, Mister.
Good. Now come to how water moves through a tree. You can see here, because sometime they ask you the question, and sometime this is a long question, that how water moves through a tree. Okay, so firstly you have to write down the role of root hair cells. You have to start from the root hair cells. Root hair cells are found in the roots of the plant, okay, which are attached by the soil. Okay, and these root hair cells, as they are having a large surface area, so they absorb high amount of water by the process of diffusion or osmosis. After that, this water enters into the cortex of the root hair cells, and then it enters into the xylem vessel. When it enters into the xylem vessel, then in xylem vessel there are two type of forces are applied in the xylem vessel. One is the cohesive force, another is the adhesive force. And what are these forces? We already discussed it. Okay, and then this water enters into the upper area, upper part of the plant, where some amount of water is to be lost and some is to be utilized in the process of photosynthesis. Okay, and this water also enters into the phloem vessels to dilute, okay, to make dilution, okay, in the phloem vessels, so that the food and amino acid and sucrose can also be transported easily, because that water is used as a medium of transport. Is a medium of transport mean the water attach some particular compounds and circulates in all parts of the plant. So this is the question. Okay, sometime you ask. Okay, and you have to start from the root hair cell, and then you talk about the function of xylem vessel, then root cortex of root hair cells, and then xylem vessel, and then you have to discuss about the transpiration and transpiration pull. So if you are going to write down all these points, you are going to get good marks. Okay, now come to the next one. See here again, the same type of concept is there. You can see the root hair cells. Root hair cells, which is attached by the particles of soil particles. And these root hair cells are responsible to absorb high amount of water. And then, the cortex cell is there. After that, the xylem column. Xylem vessels are there. Okay, and these xylem vessels taking water to the upper region of the plant. Okay, now see here water uptake, transport, and transpiration. Yes, in this diagram you can see that how the water is to be uptaken, it is to be transported, and it is to be transpired. So in the first step you can see here that how the root hair cells, taking up too much water. Okay, and then the second step it goes to the cortex. After that, in the third step you can see that how water is just moving. See here, uh, evaporation of water molecules from the surface of mesophyll cells of air space. Okay, so in the the all the surface area, okay, all like the superficial area of the plant, okay, especially leaves, okay, they have the stomata, due to which they lose access of water, and this loss of access water called as the transpiration. After that, diffuse of water vapors out of the stomata when there is a concentration gradient, okay. So just all these forces make the make like the transpiration pull, and then like cohesive forces and adhesive forces develop, and all these forces responsible for the transportation of water and mineral in the body of plant. Now see, investigating factor that affect transpiration. See here, for example, like xylem vessel. Okay, what is moved by the xylem vessel? So water and minerals are moved by the xylem vessel. What is the process by which it is moved? Okay, so transpiration is streaming. This is called as the transpiration streaming. Streaming. Direction of the flow one way from roots to leaves. Mean the water is just moving from bottom to the top, and which type of cell are xylem? Xylem are having as dead cells. Now come to the phloem vessels. Phloem vessel, is responsible to transport sucrose and amino acids. And what is the process by which amino acid and sucrose is to be transported by the phloem vessel? So this process is named as translocation. And direction of flow in all direction, because food has to move in all directions so that this food can gives the energy to the plant. Another cells, are the phloem living cells or the dead cells? So they are the living cells. So this is, you see, this is the comparative study of xylem and phloem. Now factor affecting the rate of transpiration, as already we have discussed, that there are there are four factors. Number one, is temperature. That if you increase the temperature, if the environment has more temperature, there would be more transpiration rate. If there is a high speed of wind, so there would be more transpiration. And one more thing is there, light intensity. If more light intensity, there would be more transpiration. But humidity, if more humidity, there would be less transpiration. We already discussed this one. Okay, now come to the next one. Investigating the role of environmental factors in determining the rate of transpiration from a leafy shoot. So here, there is a long procedure. Okay, there is a long procedure that how, like you investigate that the environmental factor that determine the rate of transpiration. Okay, but I just want to show you the diagram so that you can easily understand it. See, focus on the diagram. See, what we have to do, we have to we need like the potometer. See, this is a potometer, this is a glass apparatus, this is called as a potometer. On one side of the glass apparatus, the plant is to be fixed, okay, and the other side of the plant potometer, we fix the capillary tube, okay, and it is dipped into the water. And we also we also like keep the lamp, okay, near to the plant. So if you are going to close the lamp, okay, so plant are going to lose more water. Why? Because you are going to increase the light intensity. When more water is to be lost, okay, so you'll see that like the bubble, air bubble that you produce in the capillary, okay, is going to move towards the plant. Okay, and how much distance is to be covered? Okay, in which condition, at which distance of lamp from the plant, how much distance is to be covered? You can just like take the data, and based on this data you can easily conclude that as the lamp is to be kept close to the plant, so plant lose more water, and when plant lose more water, so plant also absorb more water. So this bubble, air bubble, is going to move towards the plant. Can you hear me? Yes.
I
Okay, so
can hear you.
okay, so this is the experiment by which you can prove that light intensity directly proportional to the rate of transpiration. Now another experiment is there. You can see here, leave for set period of time, record and location of the air bubbles. After that, you can see here, yeah, same type of concept is given. Okay, same here, the same type. See, even the data is there in this slide. I've also sent you the notes, all these notes. You can also study, okay, this data in detail. Now see here the wind speed, here the wind speed. If you just like increase the wind speed with the help of fan, you will see that plant lose more water. When plant lose more water, this air bubble is going to move towards the plant and it cover more distance, which means that wind is directly proportional to the rate of transpiration. Now here the humidity. Yes, we are going to use like the desiccant, okay, and here we just like put the air pump. So what we do, we just like suck up the water vapors, okay, from the this glass apparatus. So if there is a less humidity, so plant will lose more water. If there is more humidity, plant will lose less water. Okay, so here data analysis, all data analysis is given here. Okay. Now, after that, you can also, plot the graph between the mass and the time. Okay. Then wilting. What is wilting? Wilting means like, occur when the transpiration rate is faster than the rate of water absorption. Means if the uptake of water is less and loss of water is more, so plant is going to wilt. So see here, wilting. If more water evaporates from the leaf of a plant than is available in the soil to move into the root by osmosis. Okay, you can see the diagram. If the plant is wilt, then you can see the diagram would be like this. Okay, so I think the last moment, translocation, translocation is the last topic, means transportation of amino acid sucrose through the phloem vessels. Okay, so this was the last topic of this chapter, or topic number 7. Okay, translocation. And this translocation is carried out by the phloem vessels. So time is about to be finished. Okay, I hope you understand, and thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye.